Hello, this is Annette with Project Refine Life. Welcome to my channel and this Playing with Pairs video of the Somnia Tarot Illustrated Edition. I had already had the Somnia Tarot, the regular first edition, which I absolutely adore. This is an amazing, amazing deck. I did a full video of this deck before where I really was talking about my feelings, my thoughts about the Somnia Tarot. I think it's a fantastic deck. I think he created this with a level of genius that I have really, I was just so impressed. I'm so impressed by the Somnia Tarot. So when he came out with the illustrated edition, I didn't go for it because I thought there's no way that you can top this. And I'll get into my feelings about both of them in just a moment. So I resisted. I said, no way. I don't need it. I love the Somnia Tarot. I love it just the way it is. So I'm not going to mess with it. Then I saw a video, a walkthrough, side by side of the Somnia Tarot first edition plus the illustrated edition by Danny over at Danny Mystic. And I'm going to include that as a reference for you to go and see her video where she goes card by card, side by side. And it was seeing that video that was like, darn it. Now I see where the difference is. Now I can really understand the overall energy difference between the two, seeing them side by side like that. So yeah, it kind of went up to the top of the list, ordered it, it's here, and I wanted to just kind of go through the cards and pair them up with some of the other decks that I have. So let's go ahead and take a look just side by side at the overall boxing, or the box that the two decks come in. So the first edition came in this box right here. These are the backs. This is the guidebook that came with the first edition, where there's just a few words on the guidebook. The box was, you know, a more simple box, very sturdy. I keep it in the box. I don't house it in anything different. I did purchase the companion book, and again, I will also reference my video walking through this first edition as well, so that way you can see my thoughts on the guidebook as well. So this is a companion book that was purchased separately from the original deck. These are the cards, and as you can see, this is a photography deck with a nice big beautiful edging, which is interesting that I say that because most people want to get away from, you know, the borders with the white or anything else around it. They want everything to the corners, but I really feel like with photography decks that having that white border really helps center your attention. So I leave it just as is, and I love this deck. It is amazing. One of my favorite pairings for the original edition is with the Death Doula Oracle and the Energy Archaeology Oracle. And again, everything's going to be down at the bottom so you can take a look at that particular walkthrough. Now I'm going to keep this handy just for a moment. So this is the illustrated edition. He reworked the box, so now it comes in this little magnetic box that opens up. I love it when they open up like this. Sometimes they're just like this. I don't like that. I like it just like this. And he added some artwork in here. Also, this little book includes everything that this companion book has. Everything that's in here is in this tiny little guidebook here. So these match exactly. So that's a great thing because everything's tucked into this box. And then look at how beautiful this box is. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous box. It came in this organza bag with a card along with a coupon code. let's go ahead and just take a real quick look at the cards themselves. So these are gilded with this gold gilding. It does not hurt. It's beautiful. I don't remember what the cardstock is, but these are the backs. You still have that little compass here, that mason compass, but very different than the first edition, as you can see. And I think both of them hold their own place as far as the art that's contained within the deck, the way that they're packaged, because I know it's the same deck, but it's a different deck. So the first edition is a little bit larger than the illustrated edition, as you can see. And it is also, here we go, just a little bit, just a tiny, is it? Wait. No, it's the same size as your standard tarot deck. That's the comparison as far as the cards themselves. Cardstock is a little different. This is a little thicker than the first edition. The first edition is absolutely stunning. I absolutely love this deck, and it holds a place for me entirely different than this one. And it's strange to say that, but it does. So I'm just going to start going through these cards now. I'm going to include these. This deck is not in order because my thing here was not to go through the cards so much as far as card by card and showing you the deck, because Danny did an amazing job comparing the first edition plus the illustrated edition. So I really encourage you to go and take a look. These two were part of my reading from this morning, so I'm just going to go ahead and put these back now that I've showed that to you. And I'm just going to go ahead and start flipping through this as I'm speaking to you. Now, in this particular deck, the first edition plus this one, the cups are illustrated by buckets and the wands are illustrated by candles and torches. But as you can see, it is a really, really different feel. The thing about this particular deck is I feel, oh, there's a couple of extra cards here, so I'm going to put that one off to the side. I feel like it leaves it a little bit more open for you. You can really feel more of the seriousness within the first edition versus this illustrated edition. There's something about the art, the way that this one is illustrated, that just tones it down a little bit. So if you thought that maybe you liked the art of the first edition, but maybe it was a little bit too harsh for you, you can still get some great shadow work done with the illustrated edition without the really deep, almost hardness, I would say. And I'm not putting down the first edition, because I love the first edition, and that one holds its place for me in entirely different energy. It holds a different energy than this particular deck, and it sounds absolutely crazy, but it's true. I will do a few side-by-sides of the two just so that you can see. But this deck is beautiful. I do love the bright yellows. So between the first deck and the second deck, you know, of course, this is a photography deck. I'm going to go ahead and just bring it out now so I can just show you that in this deck here, you can see almost the coldness within the overall landscape as well. Oh, look it. They came up. You see, this is a perfect example. So you feel a little bit more of the warmth because of the tones. The reds stand out more. The water is given more life with this bluer color where you can't really witness that here. So in that respect, that's where you can see that there is a certain amount of starkness here. And that's what makes this deck what it is. But this deck holds a different energy as well. And you can really utilize that in a completely different area. So I've been working with it somewhat in a shadow aspect, but not as deep as this one, which has really, it's really been blowing my mind. I'm really loving this. Would I choose either one of them? No. And both of them have an absolute place within my practice. I am so impressed by this. And this first deck, when it came in, I just couldn't believe that somebody went and did this. These are actual photos. There is a couple of things that were added in by computers, but most of it was staged. He went ahead and he put all this together, and this is all based on sleep paralysis. So this is an amazing, amazing deck. Both the first edition and the illustrated edition. If you're looking for something, if you like the idea of this, but it was just a little bit too hard, a little bit too cold, you might want to look at this illustrated edition because it is just so beautiful. Some details kind of get lost almost within this deck, where he's able to really focus in more within the illustrated edition. I mean, I work with this deck and I just stare at everything within it. And I do love that he didn't unmask anybody. I love that everybody's faces are covered within this deck because it leads you to your own interpretation, your own feelings, your own thoughts within this deck and how it makes you feel. And the thing about this deck, both versions of it, is that looking at this, yes, you have your standard tarot meaning, but you can really kind of look into whatever it is that you're working with, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, and looking at these illustrations or these images kind of come to a more intuitive reading, a more intuitive process within the deck. It's amazing. That's another one of those cards. So I'm going to put this here. Now, in the illustrated edition, you'll notice that, or maybe you'll notice that the majors all have the title on the bottom as well as the court cards, but the suits do not have the titles on the bottom. So as you can see, those are not included. Within this edition, everything is listed on the bottom. He does have, as you can see right here, the number at the top of the cards. So now that I've gone through the differences between the first edition and the illustrated edition, it's time to do my favorite thing, guys, and that is pairings. One of the ways that I welcome in a deck is to bring out some cards, turn around, look at my Oracle deck collection, and see what's going to work. One of my standbys is always the Narrative Alchemy Tarot by Chrissy Bentley. This deck is amazing. I love her keywords, and in this situation, I use it in an oracle sense. So you have the Knight of Swords, Messy, and Ace of Swords, but I love the keywords. I've only had this for just a few days, but look at this. Look at the way that the colors kind of play off. Yes, there are some brighter cards within this particular deck, but look, oh, like this keyword right here, Vigilant. Look at this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love the keywords on this deck and the way that it kind of brings that reading together and really kind of highlights maybe, look at that. You guys, this is a really good match. I really do like it. This is the Sacred Symbol Oracle, and it's another standby. It's a plain color. The illustrations are much different than Chrissy's deck. Chrissy's deck has more of a fineness to it, and this is a little bit more of a raw feeling to it. However, I really like the overall tones within the pairing, but I like the keywords that kind of show up as you're looking at your reading. I like it. I think it's beautiful. I love the earthiness and the overall tone within this deck when it comes to bringing and pulling these readings together. I think it works out really, really well. These keywords are something else. This is an amazing deck as well. This is mass market, readily available. It's a great one. I really like this deck. This is the Supra Oracle. And the Supra Oracle has these beautiful, beautiful images. Again, this is something you have to order with the guidebook separately, but I just take it with its keyword and work it from there. But I do love these images together. I think they play well together. I love the keywords. I love the image and the way that it kind of allows this deck, your Somnia Tarot deck, to do the deeper and more obvious reading. This is like your focus. It really allows you to focus in here. And then this is like the depth of the reading. So I just think that the way that this deck is structured, the color, the intensity of the words, and the meaning of the words really helps to deepen the reading. Next is the Oracle of Echoes. Now, the Oracle of Echoes, this is the first edition. I know that she has another edition. I never got the second edition. This is a good deck for me. I think it's white on the bottom, so I don't know how it would look. I'm not quite sure, but what I love about this is, again, the keywords and the depth of this deck. This really gets into the psyche of the mind, of the feelings of, and again, the key words along with this deck. It's still a very deep deck. The illustrated deck is very, very deep. So with this deck, it kind of highlights the depth of the reading. I used this particular pairing yesterday, and I think it was healing that came up for me, and it was with the Empress and the Ten of Wands, and it was such an amazing read because, you know, just that weight that you're carrying, you have to nurture yourself, you have to heal. It was a beautiful, beautiful read, and I think the art styles work well together. I think the overall tones just go beautifully together. I love her keywords. I love just the art and the way that they play off together. It just beautiful, beautiful. I really like this as well. This one, it's kind of an off pairing, but this is the Mantra Oracle. And you know, this one has a completely different feel to it. However, when I was playing with these two, I haven't done a reading with these two together, but when I was playing with these two together, if you're looking at something to brighten, to focus, to kind of propel you forward with your feelings, I feel like this deck would do it. The art styles are similar, but if you're just looking at this little thing right here, the title on the bottom, Lucky No Matter What. So you have the Five of Pentacles here, and then you have Strength. But I feel like the art styles work together, and the phrase, the key phrase, is what I feel like was kind of like the light within the tunnel. I feel like this is your guiding light within this pairing in order to give you something to work towards, to feel into, to kind of be your motivating factor to work through it, the power of the divine feminine. And I just feel like this would be really good. I am going to work with these two together, and then I can tell you at the end of the month whether or not I liked them. But I feel like there's depth here and light. So I like the art and I like the key phrase. Now for the one that I really love. The combination that I really, really love together with this is the Earthbound Oracle. The Somnia Tarot is really a watery deck. It's really based within this feeling of emotion, of working through these deep, deep issues. And the Earthbound Oracle, there's no guidebook. It's up to you. You have a keyword and you have an image. But my goodness, It is beautiful. I do have this card here that was included in my reading today. So just to give you an idea, so my reading today was the Four of Pentacles, Growth, and the Three of Cups. And this was a really good and reflective reading for me for things that I'm looking at right now. So you have ceremony, you have the Six of Swords here, and then Judgment. I really love his use of ladders as well within this deck, but I feel like these two, based on my reading from this morning, these two I think are really going to be great together. Again, you have these more neutral tones within this deck that kind of pull your eye in, and then you have the more detailed approach here within the tarot deck, which I absolutely love. This Temperance card, I've always loved it, and in this illustrated version, it's not so heavy, you know, where she's pouring into a cup of tea from a teapot. I just love that. And then you have Fear here. These are gorgeous, guys. These are gorgeous, and I like these two together. I like the energy that you're being handed here. I really like this. In addition to your regular deck, you do have two additional cards that were provided with this deck. So you have this one. There's no mention of them in the guidebook, but I like this and this one too. This one feels like, you know, he's standing on a rock, he's within the water, he's holding that wand, and I just feel like he's come into his power. He sees the light, he's looking beyond what is in front of him. He has found his place of power right there. And this one, those times where you just want to crawl up on a roof and just be alone. They always show in movies, like when people are having problems, you'll find them crawling out of their window and sitting on the rooftop outside their home. And that kind of reminds me, when I saw this, that really puts me in that place. Of course, he obviously had to climb that ladder in order to get to that place of solitude, and just thinking and just kind of meditating and looking up at the moon and using that energy to just find himself in a sense. It gives me sort of that hermit type of vibe, but a little bit different. Like, he doesn't want to go away, but he just needs some time alone. Thank you so much for taking a look at this video. I appreciate your presence. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.